Moving on now, the United Nations is warning about the dire humanitarian situation in the besieged Gaza Strip in the wake of the latest 50-day Israeli war. UN Middle East envoy Nikolai Mladenev says the people in the Gaza Strip are desperate and angry about their ongoing plight. He says the extent of the devastation in Gaza following the Israeli offensive last summer was shocking. He says a crippling Israeli siege has also frustrated the 1.8 million inhabitants. The United Nations Relief and Works Agency says about 100,000 Palestinian homes were demolished during the 50-day Israeli offensive on Gaza. UN-backed international organization Shelter Cluster has estimated the reconstruction of Gaza will take at least 20 years. Ashraf Shannon, our correspondent, joins us now from Gaza to tell us about this recent United Nations report highlighting the dire humanitarian situation in Gaza following Israel's recent onslaught on the besieged Palestinian enclave.
Well, but the United Nations report is not surprising, especially with the devastation that's still present in the Palestinian territory in Gaza. 1.8 million people were subjected to gruesome war crimes and wanton destruction almost a year ago when Israel waged an all-out war against the people of Gaza. According to UN estimates, the first estimates were 40,000 homes destroyed, but months later they found out that nearly 100,000 homes were completely or partially destroyed by the continuous bombardment of the Israeli military, whether tanks, surface-to-surface missiles, or aerial bombardment, and even bombardment from the Israeli Navy of the Mediterranean coast. That war cost Gaza over 2,200 people, nearly 14,000 people were injured, and there's hardly any reconstruction taking place in Gaza. A recent report showed that not even a single home was rebuilt in Gaza following the war.
A lot of international organizations had pledged to aid in the reconstruction of Gaza, and there was also a lot of financial aid which was promised to reach the people of Gaza to aid in the reconstruction and to get medicinal supplies and vital supplies into the people of Gaza. According to Shelter Cluster, the reconstruction of Gaza will take at least 20 years. That's provided if all this aid gets in. How far behind is the reconstruction of Gaza right now?
I think the cluster estimate of 20 years is very optimistic. When you actually see what's going on the ground in Gaza, I believe it's going to take much longer, and many even construction companies are saying it will take longer, even with the pace that's going on right now. If the Israeli blockade is completely lifted, people here are crossing their fingers for that reconstruction to take place. Yesterday, the UN Special Coordinator for the so-called Middle East peace process, Nikolai Mladenev, speaking at the UN Security Council, said he touched on that point of donor countries not fulfilling the pledges to rebuild Gaza, and he also said that Israel is the main cause for the unrest and the problems in the region, and that's because of the Israeli policies against the Palestinians, whether in Gaza or the West Bank.
Thank you very much, Ashraf. Press TV's Ashraf Shannon joining us from Gaza.